such as.
I am saying that in order for us to focus your work during this, you also need to know the following: how your work ensures that the health workforce is properly trained, because you are the trainers, isn't it? And available and supported to serve our people. You know, African countries, our health workforce, we continue to cripple with the problem of absenteeism, moonlighting, dual employment.
Nabanja further promised to engage government on increasing funding for health innovations following concerns from universities over inadequate resources for research.
You talked about, Madam, your request was an increase in the innovation fund that you receive annually. After this meeting, I will call the Minister of Finance to make sure that this is done.
The conference, led by Mbarara University of Science and Technology, is running under the theme From Innovation to Impact, Strengthening Health Education, Research and Service Delivery for a Resilient Africa. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
In more news tonight, members of Parliament and the Committee of ICT have called for increased funding to the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance and its agencies to improve service delivery and strengthen the fight against corruption. The call was made as the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Justin Kasule Lumumba, and heads of agencies appeared before the committee to defend the ministry's ministerial policy statement. Take a look.
Officials from Ministry of ICT and heads of agencies have appeared before the committee chaired by Andrew Joe Kolanya as legislators scrutinize the ministry's planned programs and funding priorities. MPs raised concerns over inadequate resources allocated to key institutions, including Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, saying increased funding would enable them to effectively execute their mandates.
What plans they have, and they should give us actually verifiable plans and mechanisms they are putting in place to have these areas cleared, because we want UBC to perform. We are going to support you, but
can we do to bring back the 1% to support our ICT sector from the Ministry of Finance? Because the issue here has been financing the UBC, financing all these programs, including the infrastructure, which is very critical in this particular sector.
Those will be saying UBC has no money, UBC, which is okay. We can see through that. What plans do you have, and what are you doing now?
And also a media center, because right now at least we see some improvement in those sectors. But now my concern, UTL.
Presenting the ministry's statement, Minister Justin Kasule Lumumba said ICT can be leveraged to improve public service delivery and combat corruption. She urged Parliament to fast-track the reenactment of the Computer Misuse Act, saying the legislation is critical to address emerging challenges in the digital space. Lumumba also called for increased facilitation of the Uganda Media Center to enable it to disseminate timely government information. She further sought parliamentary support for financing the core network infrastructure of Uganda Telecommunication Corporation Limited.
To communication aspects of AFCOM 2027, the AFCOM Uganda Local Organizing Committee has a subcommittee on communication and promotions mandated to manage communication of AFCOM 2027. When it comes to this, we are not performing to the expectation because of resources. We were not allocated any extra resources to take up this additional responsibility. We are working within the little resources that we have as ministries and agencies. And as we talk now, the most limping one is Uganda Media Center, because all the time they have to improvise, we have to improvise. And as you observe that this is an area, the sector, especially radios and TVs, the many platforms that have come up have denied them sometimes adverts and access in timely way of giving information to the public. So also their sales, their incomes have gone low. So that affects the people we work with, especially their reporters. But
on the Uganda Media Council, Lumumba said inadequate funding limits its ability to handle and mediate media-related complaints. She also called for increased investment in New Vision to support preservation and promotion of Uganda's culture.
The professional bit of the sector, but the facilitation is still low, and yet they have to handle and mitigate some of these cases you have seen in the media, like the case where you saw Monitor battling with the president about the COVID jab. So they had to come in, but that was for the president. How about what is happening between the LC5 chairman and maybe a business person in the...
The minister also briefed the committee on the planned rationalization of NITAU, expected to take place by December 2027. MPs, however, called for government to assess the capacity of institutions before implementing rationalization programs. I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Cabinet has approved a proposal for government to borrow 139 billion shillings from the government of the French Republic for the installation of equipment for the Mbara Oncology Center. This comes in a bid to fight cancer that remains a serious health challenge in Mbara.
Here for cabinet decisions.
Cabinet approved a proposal for government to borrow up to 31,980,000 million euros to borrow from the government of the French Republic for the construction and equipping of the Uganda Cancer Institute Mbarara Regional Oncology Center. Even more concerning is that between 80 to 87% of the cancer patients present when the disease is already at an advanced stage, that is stage 3 and stage 4. These figures point to a clear and urgent need. Cancer services must be brought closer to the people. This investment is in line with Uganda's national development priorities, including the strengthening of health infrastructure and progress towards universal health care. 27, after successfully hosting the 19th NAM Summit in January 2024 under the theme Deepening Democracy for Shared Global Affluence. As part of the preparations for the December meeting, Cabinet approved the organizing committee and its technical committees. Cabinet also approved 3,869,000,005 shillings for hosting the meeting. This meeting will be another important opportunity for Uganda to provide leadership within the movement and to advance cooperation on issues of shared concern among member states.
News just in is that President Sharon Museveni has met outgoing Egyptian ambassador to Uganda, Monzer Selim, who paid him a farewell call at State House in Entebbe. Ambassador Selim is ending his 4-year tour of duty in Uganda on August 31st, 2026. During the meeting, Ambassador Selim thanked President Museveni for the support extended to him during his stay at the Egyptian embassy and the government of Egypt during his tenure. President Museveni wished the ambassador well in his new assignment, and of course Selim said his successor is expected to arrive in Uganda on September 4th. He also added that although he is returning to Cairo, his new responsibilities will keep Uganda within his area of engagement. The outgoing ambassador also highlighted what they described as growing economic ties between Uganda and Egypt. According to Salim, the value of operations by Egyptian companies in Uganda has risen from about 120 million US dollars at the start of his tenure and could reach 700 million US dollars following planned investments next year. He also commended President Museveni's role in regional affairs, including developments in Somalia and Sudan, as well as discussions on Nile Basin water resources. Accounting officers across the country have been asked to supervise the collection of garbage during the second National Cleaning Day exercise. The exercise is on this Saturday across the country. We have a detailed report on what will transpire.
We must all know, Ugandans must embrace it, that the National Cleaning Day is a civic issue that is under the Constitution. Article 17 of the Constitution of 1995 of the Republic of Uganda provides for citizens to create and protect a very healthy and clean environment. So based on that background, today I am here to tell Ugandans that we're going to have our second National Cleaning Day on 29th, this Saturday coming. Yes, you asked me about the performance of the one of last month, the last Saturday of July. Yes, I could say it was successful because that was the first day we initiated this initiative, and I am pleased that both the Vice President, the Prime Minister and other Ugandans fully participated. Yes, the turn-up was not as we expected now because I believe we had a gap of sensitization and all that, but now as Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, we are going to deploy all our agencies, including you, the UBC. We are going to engage, we've already engaged our agencies like UCC. We're trying to coordinate with the various radio stations, corporate companies we are calling upon, and we're going to have discussions with our development partners, like the MTNs, the Airtels. It's not about now competition, it's a collective effort. So we are going to engage various institutions to see that it becomes more successful. The last one, yes, we had the gaps in communication, information gaps, left, right. But now we are engaging various institutions. We've got, we are glad that the CDF himself, General Muhoozi, has taken this positively and is in support. We're going to have the UPDF participate in this, the Uganda Police Force. We're calling upon various universities to take part within their areas, periphery of their universities, secondary schools, NGOs, civic organizations, various political parties. This is not about NRM. This is not about NUP. This is not about FDC. We are calling for all Ugandans, regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of your religion, your tribe. No, it is a collective effort. It's a national issue that we should all impress.
The cleaning is happening on Saturday. To avoid getting into trouble, just make sure you wake up, clean the area where you stay, and you can start your movements later on at 11 a.m. or 10 maybe, after everything is done. In more stories tonight, the Parliamentary Committee on Health has raised concern over congestion and staffing gaps at Kawempe National Referral Hospital as the facility continues to handle a patient load far beyond its original capacity. The committee conducted an oversight visit to assess service delivery and establish the urgent interventions required.
The Parliamentary Committee on Health, led by its Deputy Chairperson, Honorable Hope Nakaziwe, visited Kawempe National Referral Hospital to assess the state of service delivery and establish what is required to improve healthcare at the facility.
All we want to see is improved service delivery, and where there are challenges for us to see what we need to do as Parliament within our mandate to ensure that the Ugandans that are meant to receive this service delivery actually get what they are supposed to get.
Challenges are always there, but what can we do as your representatives to ensure that that which is not going on well is also on the better side?
The committee was taken through the hospital's operations by the Executive Director, Dr. Byeruhanga Emmanuel, who highlighted the growing gap between the hospital's planned capacity and the number of patients it currently serves.
One of the causes of congestion is the erratic referrals. So we are not able to do CT scan on these mothers with complications. We have to refer them. And when you refer them to Mulago, you know the congestion. You are now congesting Mulago. Chirudu is not functional. Women's Hospital, all these CT scan went down. It broke down at the same time. I don't know why.
Kawempe was designed as a 200-bed hospital initially established to help decongest Mulago National Referral Hospital. However, management says the facility is now operating with more than 400 beds, with additional patients being accommodated in improvised spaces. The pressure is particularly evident in the maternity unit.
Our national standard is 68%. What we have come out to find out or establish is they are at 47%.
But the committee was told that the biggest challenge is not only about the number of patients. It is the hospital's limited capacity to respond to the demand. Management cited understaffing, congestion, inadequate and worn-out equipment, frequent power outages and limited space among the major challenges. They are now seeking recruitment to raise staffing to at least 70%, urging that more health workers are needed to match the increasing workload.
Is power outages. We applied for a dedicated line. We reportedly got the dedicated line, but it looks like it's not dedicated. I've written to UEDCL why this dedicated line keeps, every day around 7 p.m. it goes off.
We don't want to see people die because there is no power. We don't want to see people suffering because there is no water.
For the committee, the visit provides an opportunity to establish the immediate interventions required, from expanding the hospital, increasing staffing, and clearing power areas, to preparing and replacing equipment.
As a committee, we know the channels that we are supposed to take to process these improvements. And so we want to commit to the Ugandans out there, actually not to the director, but to the Ugandans out there, to the public, that we are going to work tooth and nail to ensure that we advocate for improvement in budget allocations to the various challenges that they have outlined to us, one of them being staffing.
The committee is also expected to assess how government can provide additional infrastructure and resources to ensure that Kawempe does not continue operating far beyond its original capacity.
We need to come out crystal clear on re-equipping the hospital. A lot of equipment is actually of old age, worn out, and needs to be disposed of and replaced. We have to work tooth and nail to do that.
That we must take care of a mother who is planning to give birth, to ensure that giving birth does not become their termination of life. And also we want to see the life that they intend to bring to earth live to expectation.
Charity Marion Imnat and Kenneth Tanaba reporting for UBC.
President Yoweri Museveni has approved the establishment of 3 new presidential industrial scaling hubs in Ntungamo, Bushenyi and Kalangala districts. The expansion follows growing demand for vocational training, with some districts receiving as few as 14 training slots per intake at existing hubs.
State House Comptroller John Baleche announced the expansion during the stakeholders' engagement at the Ankole and Greater Masaka Zonal Presidential Industrial Training Hubs. 2 of the new facilities will be established in Ntungamo and Bushenyi, while another will be built in Kalangala to serve young people who currently have to travel to the mainland for training. The Ankole hub currently serves 17 administrative units, resulting in a stiff competition for places.
Kati yewe ntumye iti Bagande, bino si bigambo byange. Nti mu Brenda Nasaka hub ajagiteekeka anga. Lwaki kubanga munnange mumanyi gye bava. Bo tebali ku kkubo bali ku mazzi. Babonaabonanye mu nsambula yaabwe. Okujja n'okuddayo laba tuli ku budde era twagala ofuna entambula. Kati y'olwegyo n'agamba naye ate kati Kalangala. Mulina otufunira ettaka lya local government. Lino munnaye lya local government tetwambula ttaka. Era tewali lwetubula ettaka. Local government etuwa ettaka yekirya ne kisiiga.
In Greater Masaka, the existing hub serves 10 administrative units. Once the Kalangala facility is completed, the area will be divided between the 2 hubs, with each serving 5 administrative units. Construction of the 3 hubs will begin after the respective local governments identify and formally provide land for facilities. State House is also expanding the courses offered under the program.
But on the courses, you already directed that we add 4 courses, Okanika, Amasanyaraze, plumbing, tugateko nechi, n'okukola engoye, weaving and knitting. So automatically tuba tuongezayo muwendo gw'abaana. Automatically because buli course ino kubeera ng'abaana 8. So katuba tweyongerako abantu 16. So meaning that automatically from 240 tuba tugenda mbina.
Admission requirements have also been relaxed for vulnerable young people without national identification cards. Applicants will now be allowed to present recommendation letters from their LC1 chairpersons, while arrangements are made for them to obtain identification documents. State House has, meanwhile, raised concern over the flow uptake of circle-ons by graduates, despite financing being available to help them start businesses. The new hubs are expected to ease pressure on existing facilities and increase access to vocational skills training in Ankole and Greater Masaka.
We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more stories.
Mami!
Wanje sabo.
Ugamotia. Oina kachi. Ha. Kagulinis teka ko. Teka kagulinis. I want everything, eh?
Okay.
Yes. So, when I pay the time, this will increase my loan limit. Hey, Hemutieni Momo. Madam, remove the food. Put more meat. Add the meat. Yes. Hey. Now, these are the fruits of paying your loan is in time.
That's right. Every time you repay your Momo loan on time, your loan limit can increase, giving you access to more money when you need it most. Dial *165*5# to borrow, pay back, and grow your limit with Momo loans.
You have juice?
Yes.
Juice in me.
We don't need anyone's permission to move forward. What we need is the power to do it our way. Spiro is not your typical EV company. It's the power grid for African ambition. A network that connects Nairobi to Kigali, Lagos to Lome, Dar to Kampala. Not with cables and wires, but with clean, quiet, relentless movement. This is Africa, powered by us.
In Uganda, mornings don't begin with sunrise. They begin with courage. One man, one factory that has refused to stay silent. With one spark of courage, a chain of prosperity begins. one Ugandan stands up, the nation moves. Pearl Bank. Grow. Prosper.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight, and after the short break, we still return with more news. And of course, tonight, police have arrested Turinda Mukama Rose in connection with the murder of 22-year-old Namuolia Jovia at her rented room in Bukoto. Rose was arrested at a friend's residence in Nakawa while applying for a visa to travel to Iraq. According to Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Rachel Kawala, investigations are ongoing to establish whether other suspects were involved in Jovia's murder.
Following the murder by stabbing of Namuolia Jovia, which occurred on the 20th of this month in Mokalazi Zone, Bukoto 1 Parish in Nakawa Division in Kampala District, the suspect, Turindwa Mukama Patricia Rose, has been arrested in connection with the murder. The suspect was arrested at her friend's house in Mbuya, Nakawa Division in Kampala District, and is currently in our custody. At the time of her arrest, the suspect was reportedly planning to flee the country to Iraq. Preliminary findings indicate that a day after the incident, that is on the 21st of August 2026, the suspect allegedly applied for an Iraq visa. We have recorded relevant statements and we have retrieved relevant statements to aid our investigations. However, investigations are still ongoing to establish the motive of the incident and also to verify whether there are additional suspects to be arrested. We shall be informing you in case of any new development.
Very sad story right there, but at least we know justice will be served. The 100-day crackdown on taxis in dangerous mechanical condition has entered day 2, with the first day of enforcement seeing 178 public service vehicles impounded across the Kampala Metropolitan Police area. The operation has reduced the number of taxis on some routes, leaving some commuters facing longer waiting times and higher fares. Take a look.
The crackdown, launched on Monday by the Ministry of Works and Transport and Traffic Police, targets public service vehicles considered unsafe for carrying passengers. Police say 178 vehicles were impounded on day 1, 63 in Kampala Metropolitan North, 62 in Kampala Metropolitan South, and 53 in Kampala Metropolitan East.
Is not just timely, but necessary, and as KCCA, we support it with every ounce of energy.
Some taxi owners have since parked their vehicles, while others have taken them to garages for repairs before returning to the road. Era mbadde nsaba nti bananyini motoka batwale motoka zaabwe zikolebwe. Abasaabaze mujja tusonyiwanga abadereva kuba njogera nga dereva mujja tusonyiwa nti mukize tugende tukole motoka zaffe tujja kudda tubatwale. The reduced number of taxis has created pressure on the public transport, with some commuters reporting longer queues and increased fares.
Kasita demand yeyongera ng'omwe muongeza kujike motoka zabaddewo ntono kati nga nawe ayina emmoloka yeeyimiridde weeraga osegeera nga naye weeraga ng'olinyisa tokolese bali akukompiti nga competition ekendedde
anti emmotoka ezo okwongeza akasente zino ezimu ezirina ebisaanyizo ebirungi bayongezaamu olwo nti abantu badde bangi nga bangi tebakyalina gye zibatwala nga zino oyadde emmotoka eriko parking eyatise tefuwa mazzi weyipa tezikola kakati ebyo nga toyinza kuyimirira ku kkubo nga bazze kukwata DMC weekweka eyo bagikwata nga parking yayo tekola nga n'amazzi tegafuuwa naye nga emisolo kwegiri.
On some routes, fares have reportedly risen from 3,000 to as much as 7,000 shillings.
If everything is streamlined on the transport sector,
upgrading, then also the price fare to be standardized for all transport across the country.
KCCA spokesperson Daniel Niwabini has urged commuters to consider available alternative transport options as the operation continues.
We encourage pooling, people coming together and moving other than a single person moving in a vehicle. But above all, we need to be supportive of the ministry to ensure that the safety of Ugandans is emphasized.
The chairperson of the Uganda Taxi Operators Federation, Rashid Sekindi, has called for fair enforcement, warning against corruption that could allow dangerous vehicles back on the road.
Kubanga fwe tukola lutu satu ku luzira omuyitako ku makya ku 7:12 era abaakula mugaleka ngende bwenti nkateekeko abe nga takaluba nnyo akutogende deni odde omugende kino nkimaze
naye ye n'agamba nti alina emmoloka z'amanyi zivaayo kiro zikeera nnyo nga abasirikale tebanajja ku makubo n'agamba ezo munzikirize buli luguudo nkwateyo waakiri emmoloka 10
The ministry says the 100-day operation will continue across the greater Kampala metropolitan area as authorities seek to ensure that public service vehicles meet the required safety standards. Cayenne Faith and Komagom Rogers reporting for UBC.
Uganda is set to renovate a military barracks and technical institute in Mozambique as a reward for having trained the National Resistance Army rebels that brought President Sharon Museveni to power in 1986. The presidential advisor on Mozambique, retired General Ivan Koreta, says preparations to execute the pledges that were made by President Museveni in 2018 are in final stages. He made the remarks while meeting a delegation of Mozambicans who in the country, they are in the country to seal the deal. Take a look.
A Mozambican delegation is in Uganda to finalize arrangements for the implementation of the projects. Presidential advisor in Mozambique, retired General Ivan Goreta, says preparations for the groundbreaking of the works are in their final stages.
He gave me this responsibility, together with Brigadier Mure, with our partners in Mozambique, the Ministry of Veteran Affairs, and we have been planning back and forwards. So today we have a visit of the Minister of Veteran Affairs of Mozambique and her delegation, her technical people, meeting with our own minister and our technical people for a final meeting to go and actually break ground.
Also include establishing an agricultural farm intended to benefit veterans of Mozambique's liberation struggle.
We pledged to improve on the accommodation in the barracks where we spent over 2 years under training. He pledged to improve and refurbish the local technical institute in the town, in the city of Montefiore. It's a civilian facility to train and skill young people. And also to set up agricultural projects that would benefit veterans of the wars that Frelimo fought.
The Mozambican delegation has started benchmarking Uganda's agricultural institutions, including the National Animal Generic Resources Center and Data Bank. Uganda's commissioner to Mozambique, retired Colonel Fred Mwesije, says that two countries are also exploring opportunities to expand trade and economic cooperation.
There's a bit of trade that is going on between Mozambique and Uganda. We're also looking at selling our Chira buses, by the way, to Mozambique. All those things are being planned, and we are working with them. Definitely would like to develop very serious bilateral dealings between the two countries.
The delegation is expected to visit more agricultural institutions as preparations for implementing the projects continue. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Thank you so much, Philip Aguta, for the wonderful story about Mozambique. Now, Uganda and Kenya are exploring a joint tourism initiative linking Kenya's coastal attractions to Uganda's inland tourism destinations, and of course in a move aimed at increasing tourism earnings, creating jobs and attracting more international visitors to the region. Uganda earned a record of $1.28 billion from international tourism in 2024 compared to about $3.5 billion earned by Kenya.
Tourism stakeholders from the two countries say joint tourism packages could help increase visitor numbers, boost foreign exchange earnings and create employment, particularly for young people. Speaking at the 5th Uganda-Kenya Coast Tourism Summit, State Minister for Tourism Susan Nakauchi said stronger collaboration is needed among governments, the private sector, communities and young innovators.
It challenges us to look beyond traditional tourism promotion and ask a more important question. How can Uganda and Kenya work together to make tourism within East Africa easier, smarter, more innovative, and more rewarding?
Nakauchi said Uganda and Kenya should market their destinations as complementary experiences, with Kenya offering beaches and marine tourism, while Uganda provides wildlife, adventure, mountains, forests and River Nile.
The Kenya coast offers the Indian Ocean, the spectacular beaches, marine experiences, and a rich coastal culture. Uganda offers the source of the Nile, mountains, forests, wildlife, adventure, culture, and some of the most remarkable inland experiences in Africa.
Stakeholders, however, identified high travel costs and other non-tariff barriers as major challenges limiting cross-border tourism.
As you know, there's no tourist now who wants to spend an air ticket just to come and enjoy one country in East Africa. They want to move all throughout the East African region such that they can benefit from their, air tickets that they pay. So service standards have been a critical issue, and
the Kenyan delegation, led by David Kabata, welcomed the proposed joint tourism packages, saying they could attract more international visitors and expand business opportunities.
And therefore, joint marketing for the tourism sector cannot be underestimated. This has to be done, and has to be done jointly by our two countries.
Engagement is firmly anchored in economic and commercial diplomacy. Tourism is not simply a leisure activity, it is a significant economic sector with implications for trade, investment, employment, infrastructure and foreign exchange earnings. Tourism.
Stakeholders also called for greater involvement of young people and technology innovators in developing digital tourism platforms and new tourism experiences.
Mami!
Wanje sabo.
Ugamotya. Olina kachi. Ha. Kagulinzi tekako. Teka kagulinzi. I want everything, eh?
Okay.
Yes. So, when I pay the time, this will increase my loan limit. Hey, Mutieni Momo. Madam, remove the food. Put more meat. Add the meat. Yes. Hey. Now, these are the fruits of paying your loan is in time.
That's right. Every time you repay your Momo loan on time, your loan limit can increase, giving you access to more money when you need it most. Dial *165*5# to borrow, pay back, and grow your limit with Momo loans.
You have juice?
Yes.
Juice in me.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and the International Growth Center invite the general public to join leaders from government, business, academia, research and development for the 10th Economic Growth Forum under the theme Realizing Uganda's Tenfold Growth Strategy in a Rapidly Changing Global Economy. We will explore practical solutions for productivity, investment, industrialization, exports and private sector growth. Be part of the conversation. Be part of shaping Uganda's economic future. 27th to 28th August 2026. Sheraton Hotel, Kampala. 10th Economic Growth Forum. Turning ideas into action for Uganda's tenfold growth. The event will be broadcast live on UBC TV.
Welcome to UBC Business Stories. Makerere University has brought together researchers, policymakers and renewable energy stakeholders to examine how clean energy can transform agriculture and support Uganda's transition to low-carbon economy. Organizers say stronger collaboration between government, universities, finances and private enterprises will be critical if Uganda is to turn its renewable energy potential into productive opportunities for rural communities. Take a look.
The discussion is centered on a question increasingly important to Uganda's rural economy. How can renewable energy be made affordable and accessible to farmers and small businesses? The National Policy Conference on Clean Energy for Development is focusing on rural renewable energy, MSMEs, and their role in modernizing agriculture. The conference is examining the barriers limiting these businesses, the opportunities available, and what policy interventions are needed to make clean energy technologies work for more farmers.
First of all, our agriculture is climate prone because weather patterns are no longer predictable. We are seeing changes in patterns, but also which affect production. And when they affect production, then we don't have we suffer food insecurity, we don't have enough resources. So one way to resolve this that our colleagues in advanced countries have been able to do is to come up with agricultural technologies that help address or mitigate the negative effects of climate change.
For researchers, the conversation goes beyond access to electricity. It also looks at how technologies such as solar power and renewable energy-powered agricultural equipment can improve productivity, reduce dependency on costly conventional energy, and create rural enterprises.
We set out to understand, and you remember that to irrigate, okay, you need a machine. But also to add value, you also need a machine. And so we set out to test the level or the degree to which farmers could adopt these agricultural technologies from local suppliers, especially, and we are basing on the fact that those technologies must be associated with the low carbon, because climate change partly is because of emissions, which we can call air pollution that is coming from emissions.
We see that to acquire some of these equipment is very expensive. So part of what this research was trying to do is to find out how can we come up with very able, affordable and sustainable ways of dealing with some of these challenges. So by Makerere University partnering with entities like Musa Bode and other SMEs and farmers and the ministry and policymakers is to try and create an ecosystem whereby we can see within this ecosystem how can people be best helped.
With government responsible for shaping the energy policy environment, the conference is also expected to draw attention to financing, regulation, technology, access and skills. Sandra Kahonde, Prosi Chontawaire, UBC News.
CGTN had an exclusive Ebola coverage from inside Mongwa Mbalu, a little town at the heart of the Democratic Republic of Congo's battle against the Ebola outbreak. Here, medical teams are working around the clock to contain the spread of the virus at a time when the healthcare system is already under severe strain. Nyambwa takes us to the front line, bringing the latest from those leading the fight against Ebola.
Of the DRC's fight against Ebola. Inside Mongwalu General Hospital, medical teams are leading the charge. Their workload has grown tremendously since the outbreak, juggling between caring for the ordinary patients and taking responsibility for surveillance and detection of new infections.
Our workload today is completely different from the one before the epidemic. We are working much harder and it's more challenging. When patients are discharged from the treatment center without someone to accompany them, I have to play two roles, providing care while also supervising them. It weighs on me, but this is our mission, and we are doing our best.
Thanks to the government and international partners, capacity at the hospital's Ebola treatment center is expanding to isolate and treat suspected cases faster. The goal is to break the chains of transmission before they reach local homes, some in remote locations.
Our treatment center currently operates 113 beds, which is substantial, and a second facility is under construction to reinforce our response. Anyone who has been in contact with patients is monitored closely. The moment a contact shows symptoms, they are classified as a suspected case and transferred to the treatment center.
Yet infrastructure alone cannot stop the spread. Curbing the spread of the deadly virus depends heavily on public cooperation.
Imagine that someone falls ill, decides to stay at home, and refuses to come to the treatment center. If that person later dies in the community, they may have infected dozens of people. When that happens, it becomes harder to break the chain of transmission.
Health workers say taking care of the sick while trying to curb the spread is a heavy responsibility to bear. At the same time, they must also guard against the risk of contracting the disease. Since it was officially declared, the Bundibujo strain of the virus has spread faster than any of the country's 16 previous Ebola outbreaks. Health workers remain the country's main line of defense against the virus, even as they look to the government and humanitarian partners to provide more resources for help. Bilkis Anyabwa, CGTN.
Alo.
Yes, mwami mukasa.
Mutyaneyo.
Yono broka.
Yenze broka wa mayumba.
Bangambye ne nyumba za mwenungiko.
Kituufu. Oyagala yabisenga bimeka?
Nga bisatu.
Ebbeeyi bagigambye?
Bangambye saa 5.
Nedda ssebe eno zaali nnyamuuko.
Lwaki?
Anti langi gye tusiigisa ya mulembe. Anti ne valiyo y'ekitundu yalinnya.
Musiigisa ki?
Global Paints.
Mutya.
Ku siiringi tukozesa Global Mat. Ate munda ne tukozesa Global Silk Vinyl.
Singa kwetaga wabweru.
Wabweru tukozesa Global Weather Coat Emulsion.
Kusiiga gye musiiga. Ogwo omutindo ogusasulira sente zonna.
Guli wumite.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
Uganda, are you ready to take your business to the world? This September, the Gateway to International Markets opens in Istanbul, Turkey. From the 15th to the 19th of September 2026, join AFEX 2026 Africa Business Forum and Expo, bringing together Africa and global markets in one dynamic business platform. Meet international buyers, investors, manufacturers, distributors, traders, and business leaders alongside the Global Franchise and Distributorship Expo. Whether you are in textiles, agro-processing, tourism, logistics, ICT, manufacturing, education, mining, FMCG, healthcare, construction, or automotives, AFEX 2026 gives you the opportunity to connect, exhibit, invest, and expand. Ugandan exhibitors and business visitors, this is your opportunity to showcase your products, discover new markets, build international partnerships, and take your business beyond borders. And when you're ready to make the journey, travel with Gotavet Tours and Travel, your trusted travel partner for AFEX 2026. Register today through a call or WhatsApp on 0782 556-078 or 0701-556-078. Visit Gotovet Tours and Travel at Plot 3 Parliament Avenue, Rajat Chambers, Wing A, First Floor, Suite F1, 026. Afex 2026 Istanbul, where Africa meets the world.
Pearl of Africa, welcome everyone.
Welcome to the last segment of UBC News Tonight, and today the battle for inter-forces games supremacy intensified in Gulu as security forces entered day 2 of competition, with Uganda Prison Service taking early control of the athletics track. The 18th edition of the game is bringing together teams from the UPDF Police, Uganda Prison Service and Uganda Wildlife Authority, with competition also featuring football and other sporting disciplines. Take a look.
Action shifted track and field at Laibi College in Gulu, where athletes went head-to-head for medals and bragging rights. Uganda Prisons dominated the athletics program, with Cheptoyek Joy winning gold in 1,500 meters and Cheprop Rispa taking the top prize in 5,000 meters. In the sprints, Abode Emmanuel claimed gold in 100 meters, while Okwi Elik completed a double by winning both the 200 and 400 meters. In the women's events, Akulu Monica won gold in 400 meters and bronze in 200, while Nyawel Christine struck gold in 200 and silver in 100 meters. The athletics battle provided a fierce contest as UPDF, police, prisons, and Uganda Wildlife Authority athletes pushed for supremacy.
The games are aimed at bringing together the armed forces because our goal is one, to protect Ugandans. That's the national goal. But we cannot protect Ugandans when we are not working together. So these games helps us to come together, build cohesion, build comradeship, and build camaraderie.
Commander of the 4th Infantry Division, Major General Wilberforce Serenkoma, said hosting the games is strengthening cooperation between security forces and communities they serve. Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
Those sports will strengthen our bonds that enable us to work together.
West Nile is set to host an international cycling showdown as the inaugural race, the Nile Uganda Ultra 2026, has been launched, challenging riders to conquer an 800-kilometer route across the region. The 5-day ultra endurance race will run from November 23rd to 27th, bringing together about 50 international cyclists in a grueling test of endurance, skill and determination.
Our intention is to make it an annual event that brings in the international cyclists and also improves on the local cyclists to make sure that we grow the sector and grow everybody in it. Because at the end of it, if we grow, as you all understand, if this grows, everybody will grow. Tourism will grow, transport will grow, everything you think about will grow with it. The West Nile is one of those regions that has been kind of left behind because of its infrastructure in terms of accommodation, transport, the roads, everything else. They do have some good ones, but most of them don't have the proper infrastructure to get the tourists to go there and sleep in a nice hotel. However, if you do a race, it means the cyclists don't need a very good hotel where they're cycling. This thing is 800 kilometers over 5 days. You need to find where you're going to stay. We will be advising you where you can stay. We'll be telling you where you can get food, where you can get support from everybody else, because it's a self-supporting race.
As organizers, we are providing all the information to them in terms of the routes, the stopover points, but also where they can be able to sleep, list of guest houses, hotels, where they can get supplies in the different cities and trading centers in West Nile. But we are not, according to the rules of this sport, we are not supposed to help them in booking anything for them. Since this is first edition, we are expecting to cap it at about 50 international racers, not more than that, because we need to learn from this first edition how best to organize it. It's going to be an annual event happening. So for this first edition, we'll cap it at 50 so that we are sure that we'll learn from it and make it better for the subsequent races. There are going to be prizes, but the top prize is going to be naming one of the white rhinos at Ajai Wildlife Reserve. So this is the prize that is getting everybody motivated. And
once again for more news coming your way. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha with Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Are you looking for a home away from home? Then this is the place for you. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha, and welcome to Hotel Le Confidential.
With 84 comfortable rooms where you can